Over the course of the last decade or so, there have been a couple of occasions with Governor Paul LePage and then now with Governor Mills where things have happened at the end of session that people didn't really expect. A couple of years ago with Governor LePage, he tried to do what Governor Mills is doing right now, and he did it at the end of a 2-year legislative session. Turns out if you try to do that at the end of a 2-year legislative session, you can't. And what I'm talking about is something like pocketing a bill or a pocket veto. So here's how it goes in Maine. Maine has a 2-year legislative session. We meet in the first year sometime from January to July, and in the second year, January to April. Typically, when a governor vetoes a bill, the legislature has an opportunity, right, to override or to sustain that veto. If at the end of session, right, the governor gets a bill into her possession, the legislature, it's gone. They're out, they're done. So they don't have an opportunity to potentially override. In between the first and second session, so the first year and the second year, that does not result in a pocket veto. It results in what I like to call a zombie bill. The bill just kind of hangs out on the governor's desk until the legislature comes back. If they come back for more than 3 days and she doesn't veto the bill, then it goes into law without her signature. She has an opportunity to veto the bill in those first 3 days. It's really interesting because then at the end of next session, if she did the same thing, right, the legislature goes away, she's got a bunch of bills on her desk, she decides she doesn't like them, that's a pocket veto. So a pocket veto is actually only available at the very end of a whole legislature, in this case, the 132nd legislature. So you have quite a few zombie bills right now, actually, one of which I worked on, the Maine's right to repair changes to that law to tighten up the data security. That's sitting on her desk. The bill about cooperation with ICE. There was a ghost gun bill that I'm not particularly familiar with, but I know that was on her desk. So several things that will sit until the legislature comes back in session. 3 days. She takes no action in those 3 days, then it becomes law without her signature. Now, what makes this interesting is that in this particular legislature, with this particular governor, I should say, they have never overridden her veto. This governor has never had a veto overridden by any legislature. It'll be very interesting to see what happens if she chooses to veto any of those bills, or any in the future, now that she may be running for higher office, and whether or not that will have any impact on the politics of a veto. So it seems entirely possible that she could go her entire 8-year career as governor with nothing but sustained vetoes, which is very impressive from a just, historical standpoint. I think that's probably pretty unprecedented.